Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the Jetnay Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know, your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me.
Yes. Well, great day to everyone, and welcome to Talking All Things Books. And I am Dr. Annette, and we're going to see what we're going to talk about today, besides finishing up talking about the steps to writing publishing. So but I don't want to start with that. I really want to start with what is going on with us. What projects are we working on? Do we have anything new that we want to share about? Do we have something new that we can invite others to?
Well, since you asked that, in fact, I just posted it in the chat. Crystal Henry, whom I met on your show, invited me to co-present with her for the next 6 months. And we're talking about reading, writing, and leading. And we'll be reading from some of the books that we've published, but we'll also be having some interactive activities on where we're inviting those who join us to write about the topic of the day. And our first one is healthy reading, healthy writing. The link between what we take in when we read and what we utilize when we write. And so that's going to be on Saturday, the fourth Saturday of each month at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And again, thank you for encouraging us to work together that way. And we're not sure what's going to happen, other than that we are enjoying getting to know one another and supporting each other in what it is that we do when we're not doing it together.
Yes. So if you forget what's going on, just go to Facebook, go to the Jetnay Publishing group, and the flyers are in that group as well. It is important that we tap into as much insight as we can. That's what's going to help us to develop and to grow. Pay attention to what other people are doing. See if there's something, we call it benchmarking. Are they doing something that could benefit you? But are they doing something that you needed to know so that you could stay away from particular things? So we have to, we want to stay actively engaged, our eyes open, really listening in to what people are talking about, and then picking and choosing that which fits best what we are supposed to be doing. Congratulations, Miss Anna, with you and Crystal Henry. Beautiful.
Congratulations, Dr. West, for creating this platform and encouraging us to do this. I mentioned that Melvise and I have begun a collaboration where we've built a mailing list of almost 500 colleges and have begun sending out mass mailings and getting really nice traffic. I haven't gotten a report yet on whether any books are being sold, but we are getting responses to what we've been publishing. So the ideas that you're giving are expanding what I'm able to do with what I already have. I already have a website, and now letting people know about it. So thank you.
You are very welcome, Miss Anna. Good to see Sarah here. Minister Angela Simmons, and this is Angela has an AI note taker as well to help her get her content. Miss Anna is a part of the Centered in Christ, Volume 5 devotional. And she will have a poetry section in the book. And Selah is also writing a devotion in this particular devotional as well. So I am so excited. We are ahead of the game. We can't get behind, but we are ahead, and that is a great thing. You know, the thing that I don't like to do is to tell people they haven't invested the rest of their resources. So as I had to send this out yesterday to people, um, it simply said, "Hi, so and so, such and such is due by close of business tonight. Appreciate you handling your business, Dr. Annette." And so one of the ladies she said this morning in our women's group, she said, "Honey, y'all, when Dr. West ready to get the business, she don't be playing. She was like, this is what you need to do." And she said, then I thought about it. I knew what I was supposed to do, and I hadn't done it. So yeah, she needed to come to me and be straightforward and say, you did not, I haven't gotten this from you. That's it. She said, but guess what? I got it done tonight. She said, I got it done last night because I already knew I hadn't done what I needed to do, hadn't finished it. So we don't like talking about money. We don't like to remind people of money, but guess what? That is a part of our business. The resources need to come in so that we can do the things that we need to do. And then the Lord always blesses that, you know, I may have a person or two that's bartering something. And then I may have somebody that the Lord said, just, you know, their plight, just bless them. So, and then that's what we do. Because it's not about the dollar, it's about the kingdom. Priority is the kingdom work. Any comments? Anybody have any no, that would be Miss Anna because Melvise isn't here. New clients. I actually got a new client yesterday. So I got my first client in 2025. And I am working with 3 clients now that slid in from 2024 into 2025. And we are going to get their work done within the next 3 to 4 months. They will be finished and out of the way. And then it'll be time to bring another person. I don't want a lot of people. I don't want to do a lot of people. But I do want to stay actively engaged. And many of us have more than just publishing that we are doing. I have my women's ministry. I have my Kenya Mission School. I'm supporting other ministries. I'm doing other things. So there are many things. I have the podcast still. Now I have the television show. So there's a lot of things that I am actively engaged with. And so even though I will be doing books, I won't be doing a lot of books.
I do have a question if you've got time, or if there are others who work with publishers. One of my clients sent her manuscript and she had made it in Word and sent it in PDF, and we have not been able to edit it. And want to know what strategies we can use so that all of these 150 pages of her work don't have to be completely redone. If so, how can they be done efficiently so it's not going to take, a week to take all of her words and put them in a format that KDP will accept?
Isn't Adobe, the advanced Adobe, you can convert a PDF file to a Word document?
We tried that. And I'm not certain whether she went from page to PDF by converting or exporting. We can see everything, but we can't do anything. And when I opened it in PDF Adobe Pro, it looked like it was locked. And again, this is someone who came to me after the entire manuscript was written, but because it was in page, I could not see it. And because it was in Page, we could not view it on KDP. So she changed it to PDF. I showed her to what it looked like on KDP. Of course, it was a grand mess. And now we're trying to figure out how to recover in an efficient way. And if there's someone who's had this issue, can share it with me privately or here if you think it's going to be useful for someone else.
Can
Go
she
ahead,
not,
Angela.
I was gonna say, can she not take what she created and put it in Word or whatever format you need it to be in?
I can see it, but we cannot format it. She was just inputting words and dropping in pictures, but in order to publish on KDP, it has to be within the safe zone. And in attempting to get those words and pictures within the safe zone, haven't been able to do it. And I'm not certain where to start since I've tried so many things. And so if someone has an efficient way of doing that, so that, has everybody done rich text format?
I don't do
Okay.
anything with rich text format. So it's not possible to minimize the margins around the content so that the content does fit. Can't do that either.
No, when we
Oh.
tried to do that, the words slide off the page.
Mm.
And so it's possible to go in and copy and paste the words into a brand new Word template, but that's going to take a week. And
Can she
when
can
I
she
told her
do
what
that
it's going,
part? What I was
go ahead,
wondering.
please.
I was saying, can she do that work if that's what she give it to you in the format that you need it in? That's all I was
Correct.
saying.
Right. And that's what I told her yesterday. I would try to find out how to do it. When we meet online for our regular coaching hour, I will show her how to do it. But because she works in a different application than I do, many of the words and the terms in Page and Word are just enough different to be confusing. And if any of you have had experience with that, can share it with me, on our own time. I'd like to do it. If not, I will go with what worked last night, which was basically opening the correct template, going to what she sent, copying and pouring in the words, and then reformatting.
You might want to ask Melvise also, Miss Anna, if
Okay.
she has an idea, because she's doing a lot of ghostwriting and different things, so she might be able to help you with that.
All right. Thank you. I'll check with her after. Thank you all for allowing me this time.
That was good. That was good. Thank you, Lord. Any comments? Angela, how's your project coming?
I'm gonna give time to it this week to do the stuff that I told you I was gonna try to do. I did have another death in the family, but I'm trying to get myself together in reference to that. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of stuff going on in families. Yeah. So the last 2 weeks we talked about steps to get started writing a book. And last week I came back and reiterated swiftly the first four and then covered some more. And so today I'll basically start back at the beginning, reiterate, and then cover the final two areas, which are all of them are important, but these are so significant if we really want to build and go and move to the next level. You had a comment, Miss Ann? I see you smiling.
Listening.
Okay. She's listening with a smile on her face. All right. So, talking about steps to get started writing a book. I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday who wanted to hire me. She's been talking to me maybe about 6 years about this book that she's wanted to write and starting, and and she feels like she finally has about 90% of the content ready. And so she's ready to contract because she believes that will help her get the other 10% done. So I said, sounds good to me. So I will be sending her a contract tomorrow. One of the things that I asked her for, why are you, back to our questions, why are you writing this particular book? What's your goal with this book? Is it just to put information out? What is your goal with the book? Why are you writing the book? That's the first question we need to ask ourselves before we start writing, if at all possible. Unless we're like some of us just have a lot of information that we've written through many years. But even then, we still have to decide, what do we want to do with it? How is it going to fit into what we want to convey to our audience? Do we want to inspire? Do we want to educate? Do we want to entertain? Do we want to right or wrong? What is our purpose for doing this? Who is our target audience? We have to know their age, their interests, what are their needs? Do they have any particular preferences? All of those things are critical to us as we begin to decide, ooh, I think I want to write this book, and this is why. Choose that. The second thing is choose your book topic or your genre. Is something that you are passionate about? I'm passionate about a few things. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about teaching in academia, in business. I'm passionate about teaching the Bible. I am passionate about gardening. So I am passionate about food. So there are some things that I am passionate about that I could write about. And there are all things that I'm knowledgeable in, but does that mean that I have all the knowledge? No way. Impossible. There's always more to learn. Determine what type of books you want to write. Is it going to be fiction, nonfiction? Is it going to be a memoir, self-help? Decide what type of book it's going to be. The third thing is outline your ideas. I like to tell my students, if you are able to create an outline, you have the table of contents for your book when you're ready to get your book in place. So what areas what are your primary areas? What are your secondary areas that you want to talk about? Topics, subtopics. So we lay all of those things out. The fourth thing is setting your goals. What type of goals will you be putting into place? I work well by determining how many pages I want my book to be, and then breaking that down across however many chapters I want to write about, and then determining how much time I want to apply to each of those chapters. But there are other ways to do this, but we still have to set our writing goals and our deadlines and be realistic. I know yesterday when I was talking to the young lady, I said, well, when do you want to get this book done? And she said, well, I'd like to get it done in a month or two. I said, no. I said, how long have you been thinking about it? Like, you've been talking to me since 2016 about this book. So what makes you think that now that you're ready to hand it over to me in 30 or 60 days, it's going to be completed? No, I said, we're going to journey with 6 months. You could do a whole lot in 6 months if you are committed to the process. So she said, oh, okay. Because, sometimes people they want what they want, but is it realistic to the process? And are you going to be rushing to get it done, and then you're not going to put out the best quality product? Comments, Miss Anna?
That's an important point, and one that I'm dealing with two people right now. Some people think because they have written it, it's ready to be published. And until we read what they have written and looked at the format, we're not sure how long it's going to take. And I underestimated for the one that I was mentioning about, because she says, I already have it in the template, but it was not, she had a template, but was not using it. And having a template and writing and putting it into the template, and I did not ask enough questions ahead of time. Thankful we did not put a deadline on when it would be finished. I said, it needs to be finished 6 months before you want to, 6 weeks before you want to release it. Finish with what we have to do. And so asking those questions and putting in those realistic timelines. But I would suggest also reading what they've written already The other client writes, she says, I just want to meet online with you. I want to write for 45 minutes and we talk for 15. And she said, it's knowing that I need to complete something within that time. And we've met, I think maybe 10 times now. And she has been doing that writing during our meetings. And so there doesn't seem to be any one way that works for our coaching. The thing about it, once we log on, when she starts writing, so can I. So there's a double benefit to that. But knowing their deadline and a realistic deadline, I think, is an important part of coaching.
Yes, that's real good. So make sure you set those goals, realistic deadlines, establish a timeline to complete your draft, lay it out. I usually have a milestone chart, what we're going to do at this point, and process through that. The fifth thing is creating a writing space and a schedule. Like Miss Anna just said, this person needs accountability, so she's willing to write during her time with her coach, and that is a good thing because it's working for her. So find what works for you and be willing to invest in yourself to get it done. Number 6 was start writing. Start writing. Focus on getting your ideas on paper without worrying about perfection, without worrying about editing. There'll be time to edit. Just write. Just write. Just write. You can write however you choose. You can use a word processor. You can use a notebook, piece of paper, however you want to do it. Somebody I know still has their typewriter and they still type certain things on their typewriter. And they say when they're on their typewriter, they get a different flow. I still have a typewriter. I'm not typing nothing on it. But I said I'm going to keep it because one day I might need to send something and the computer not working, okay? So I'm going to keep my typewriter. So there's lots of writing apps available. And I like pen and paper, preferably myself, when I get started. The 7th thing we talked about was revise and edit. Review your draft for clarity. There is actually a video in the Talking All Things books on YouTube on our Publishing Pusher channel that is called Edit Ready. Talking All Things Books, Edit Ready. And we had Miss Anna and Melvise from Written Word Publishing to share that week on expectations for having your content, your manuscript, edit ready. That doesn't mean it's perfect. That doesn't mean it's 100%, but it means it is the best quality document manuscript that you can complete using necessary tools. What tools am I talking about? If you're in Word, then you have an editor in Word. Use it. Not Canva. You have Grammarly. You can use the free version to get started, or you can use the paid version. It's up to you. And then there's others out there as well. Now, if you're not as deep as Miss Anna and I on some of the things we're doing, you may not need those other things. But with Grammarly, with the spell check and the editor in your own software, Microsoft Word, what was the other one you said, Miss Anna? Not Microsoft Word that you were mentioning.
You tell us to consider ProWrite as well.
ProWriting aid. So, but if you do minimally, the editor in your writing word processing, and you do Grammarly, preferably Grammarly Pro, you can, instead of paying for a year, you could just pay for 1 month so that you can have the depth and more insight as you are going through. So having it edit ready is going to be cost effective to you, that we're not coming back to you saying, okay, well, you have to pay this amount more money that we talked about in your contract if we had to do other things. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
That's the other person with whom I'm writing sent me 3 chapters for me to see what her writing looks like. And I said, you're not ready for this. Because she was ready to pay to edit. I said, what I charged you will not take care of it because it looks like you have not run those primary programs. And so I will take back that contract. I will not ask you to pay it, but I'm also going to send this file back to you, run these. And the other one is listening. Some of the programs have read aloud.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hear it read aloud, they hear the repetition. They hear the missed words. When the read aloud reader stumbles because it doesn't feel right, how AI feels. And inviting them as part of their edit ready process is to have their manuscript read aloud to them using the resources and the apps that they have.
All right. Remember, you have read aloud in your word processing as well. So take advantage of the tools that are already in your platforms. Yes. We have to be willing as we revise and edit. Know that you may have to revise and refine your content. Like, well, God gave it to me. Okay. He may have given it to you, but you haven't done everything you need to do with it. So if you tell me God gave it to you, I'm going to believe you. But now what are you going to do to get it to the caliber and the quality that needs to be in our hands when we receive it? Number 8, seek feedback. Share your manuscript with maybe 1 or 2 trusted friends. Join a writing group where you can share your content with each other in the writing group and get feedback. Go ahead, Miss Anna. Consider hiring a professional editor for a detailed review. Just a review. You can pay for a review, a professional review of your manuscript. So, something to think about. Number 9, decide whether you are going to self-publish, hybrid publish, or pursue traditional publishing. Most people that I know are not pursuing traditional publishing. Not because they don't want to, it's just because it's hard to get into it. It's hard to get your manuscript reviewed. It's hard to, they might take it and say, I think we can work with you. And they might be holding on to it for 2 years. Well, you could have already published your book in 2 years if you were willing to do the work, hire a coach, walk through the process. You could have had 3 or 4 books done in that 2 years. And when you're talking about traditional as a self-publishing, when you're with a traditional company, they get to decide the bulk of how that book is going to be done, ideas and different things, structure and all of that. As a self-publisher, you get to choose your own direction as long as you stay within the parameters of the particular platform that you are using. If you're using a KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, you're going to have to make sure that you understand their templates and what their expectations are. If you're on Ingram Sparks, you're going to have to go look at their stuff because there is going to be a little variance from KDP to that. It's just the way it is. If you're going to do Barnes and Nobles, Lulu Books, there's a whole lot of other ones out there. And you can have your book on all of them, but you got to do your homework the right way to prepare for that. And we're talking about, deciding what we want to do. I personally try to get people to self-publish. Now, my new client yesterday, she said, I'm not doing it. She said, I can't do it. I've got 3 little ones. So I can't do all of this stuff. So I need to pay for it to be done. So we will make sure. And then I said to her, but when this is all said and done, it's your book and it's going to be on your site. And I'm going to take my hands off of it once we've gotten it to the place where you can go ahead and upload it. I said, then we're going to step back. And then you're going to order your own author copies. And I explained all of that insight to her on yesterday. So while we're talking about preparing for publishing, we have to think about most people don't format their manuscripts very well, even when they think they have. And I'm even guilty of it, okay? Because sometimes we just too close to our own work, and we have to have other eyes on it. You need to make sure you have a very nice cover design. You need to have a very compelling book description for your content. What's going to be on the back of your book? What sections are going to be? All of this stuff is a part of preparing for publishing. But once you hand over your document to me, say for instance, and I am the one that's going to get the ISBNs. I'm the one that's going to get your barcode. I'm the one that's going to get your Library of Congress number. I'm going to do all of these things as a part of it. But for the person who is self-publishing, I'm going to tell them what tools they need, and then they are going to be able to do those things. And I'll give them a list of things with dates as to when they need to get to accomplish these things. Comments, Miss Anna?
Not on those. Most of those that I work with, for the most part, are either preparing chapters to go into a book for someone else, traditional publisher, or they are self-publishing. Many come to me writing memoirs or devotionals. But that idea of formatting, some go online and download a template, but once they begin working in it, it's difficult to shift to what works. And I think that's something that those of us who are working with self-publishers going to need to build in earlier, because that's the issue that I'm working with now. Someone told this person she was ready to hire an editor. And so she came to me thinking she was all set, and we're not. So we've got to figure out how to share these with them so we don't discourage them, but we do definitely inform them and prepare them for what's coming.
Yes, that is that is good. And so you have to really pay attention. You really need to do your due diligence to find out what options are available to you, how much financial resources you are willing to invest in, because there's going to be a different cost. If you're going traditional, very rarely are companies taking your book on and saying we're going to give you royalties anymore. That's not happening like it used to happen back in the day, because there's so many people, that are writing books. And usually the ones that have already made the New York Times bestsellers and the international bestsellers, their names keep coming to the front. They keep getting the primary recognition. But it doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do. Listen, if you want to become a Amazon best-selling author, you can do the work to do that as well. That's never been a concern of mine, but you could do it. It's a pay to play. You have to understand that. The people say, oh, I'm an Amazon bestseller. No, there's a process to that. And then you have to decide, am I willing to pay to play? Yes. So all of these things are important under preparing for publishing. The 10th thing, this is the final thing, is promote your book and launch your book. While you are preparing, you should be promoting. While you are preparing your manuscript, you should already be talking about your book. The S3 model says, if you don't show up, people don't know who you are. If you don't speak out, people don't know you have something to say. And if you don't share it, people don't know what's in your toolbox. So we have to show up, speak out, and share it. So we do that by letting people know what we have coming without giving them the information of what's coming. So you can create some nice little nuggets of thoughts from what you're doing, and you can share those. You can share your picture. You once your cover is solidified, you can share a cover of your book and thoughts with it. And then you can start asking people. Now, I don't start asking people to invest in a pre-order copy of the book until after I personally have spent some time sharing some of my content, because you're asking for something and people don't know you. So make your presence known, so people will be looking for you. People will be expecting for you. Build your audience by sharing your journey on social media or a blog. When you start out talking about, I've been thinking about writing a book, this is where I am. I'm gonna let you all know as I'm going through. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
That's one of the questions that I had. Want to know if those of you who do it, sometimes people's following is their professional following, but they're writing a personal book. What do you recommend that a person in that situation do to get the word out about the book that has nothing to do particularly with their professional following? Do they start a new something or another? How do you do that?
I mean, they could, but typically, if we have people following us, this is what I did. Okay, so when I was doing that book on indoor gardening, for instance, and I wanted to send something out, I sent it to people that I knew. But I also said, if this is not of interest to you, please in the subject line put delete, and they would be taken out of the rotation, out of the list. So, and I sent out 100, and actually one person said, remove me from the email, and I removed them, and now I have that 100. And then as I'm connecting with more people, that line is still in there, and as I just keep adding more people to that list and sending it out. So I don't think it's that I don't think it's that complicated if we're writing under our name as we've been doing everything else. Now, if you're going to get a pen name, then you may want to create all new, platform and things of that nature. But you could even have your pen name and just let people know, I'm writing under a pen name because the content is still good, but it's a different flow. It's a different genre or something like that. And people don't typically have any problems with that.
Does anyone have any experience working with government workers? Some of my clients are, and it's sort of been very ticklish as they have been preparing. It's not unbecoming, or it's not revealing information that shouldn't be revealed, but they're wondering how to have a platform for the book that's not connected with the platform of people who know them from their jobs. And these happen to be government employees, and that's something we're working on now.
Okay, so we actually had someone in here that does have that plight. Okay, so they are have a different email, they have a different group, and everything. What happens is, as you're putting content out, people are going to follow you. So if those people over there that are government decide to follow, then it's not an issue. You just can't send out to them to ask them. But people are going to be watching what you're doing, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm interested in that. Well, then you just put them in. As long as you're not going and soliciting them to purchase your whatever you have, then it shouldn't be a problem. But it is a fine line. But we have to build our audience. People don't know nothing about you until you start talking. Make your presence known. Lots of social platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's a lot of them. There's a wisdom app now. So there's a lot of, but you cannot be everywhere. Find your 2 or 3 places. I have not been on my Instagram hardly at all. I want to say since the 1st of November. And somebody said, I haven't seen you on your, it's okay. You know, I'm still here. I'm on Facebook. I'm not as engaged on my LinkedIn channel. But none of these platforms generate resources for me. None of these platforms. My resources are generated by word of mouth, by one person telling somebody else about what I've done and how I help them. And I am fine with that. Because as you are on these different platforms, they're going to want you to spend some money on those platforms to put your information out. And you don't really know if people are getting the information or not, but you pay for it. So I try my best not to do that unless I'm just trying to do something for my business. And I was like, okay, well, let me go put a little piece out. Probably won't have no hits, but at least I put it out and it got out there for people to see. So promote. And then after you've been promoting, you are going to launch your book. You can have a campaign. You could do it on KDP, where they take your book over so many days and they adjust the pricing for people to be able to get your book, but you are going to pay for that. So if you're trying to get the #1 bookseller on Amazon, it's on Amazon, people. It is not international, and it is not New York Times. It is a platform that Amazon has created to ensure that they are generating the resources that they need from the people that come to their platform. Any comments, Miss Anna? Well, as we finish out this and we are embarking on our writing journey, there is so much for us to accomplish. We have to begin to transform our thoughts, our passion, our ideas into tangible creation that will be able to impact others. Every step that we take will help us to clarify our purpose, to polishing our final draft, and bring us closer to fulfilling the vision that we talked about in #1 when we were talking about why we want to write this book and who is this book for. So I would say keep ourselves open, be attentive to what we are doing, and just be mindful of the power of your unique voice. Your voice is unique and your voice matters. And there are people that are waiting to hear what your voice is conveying. So thanks for joining us today on Talking All Things Books as we looked at part 3 of Steps to Book Writing. That is it for today. I like to end with, you are blessed to be a blessing. And if you serve King Jesus, then you are supposed to be the visible manifestation of his invisible presence. I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.